Welcome to the April psychic forecast. And during the month of March, the earth did shake in more ways than one, as predicted. Now in April, the structures have to come down. We're not here to talk about doom and gloom or fear-based stuff or anything like that. But we're not going to sugarcoat it either, because we're here to help you to prepare for possibilities. And the best way to mitigate, offset, or soften some of the shocking things that I'm about to tell you about, April, is to raise the frequencies, to raise our collective consciousness. And the best way to do that is for us to individually raise our consciousness and feed the collective. And that is what the medium channel is here for. So welcome. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to be working a lot from my notes, of course. So firstly, we've been telling you for a good while to watch out for the month of April, right? For months now. Well, it's here now. And here's your April psychic forecast. And are these Trump's final days coming up? Will there be a mass exodus from the U.S.? We're in the heart of the earth shift right now. So everything is changing, right? This is a make or break time for us and our lives, and a make or break time for us. I can't even write my notes out properly. But anyway, for us in the world around us, the most important thing now is to understand these energies so that you can avoid problems and take full advantage of the blessings that are available to us. And this is a really, really blessed time. And I'm going to get into that in a moment. Then we have some prediction. I've got a little bit on the numerology and astrology of the month. We have a whole long list of prediction, and I have divination cards so that spirit can fill in anything that I miss, or so that we can do some spontaneous messages about the month of April also. And of course, not all predictions are written in stone. It's everything that happens in the now. When I get visions or messages from spirit, they're projecting into the future, but everything happens in the now. So if we change the future, if we can change the now, we can adjust, or we can mitigate the future and change it and make everything come out better. So while people are getting their notification, I'll just say a few quick hellos, and then we're going to dive right into this. I've got my April highlights here. Hello, Lois and Roseanne and Felicia. Welcome. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Michael. And hi, Rebecca and Doreen. We're back. And hello, Brooke and Crystal Blue. Welcome. If anybody's new and you want to say where in the world you are right now, where you're watching from, thank you for that. We appreciate it. And good evening. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yes. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lisa. Yvonne, Melissa. Welcome. Roseanne. Brooke, Michael, Janice, okay, Patricia. All right. Hello, Jessica Gable. Hello, Joan Gomez, California. Very good. So I'm in the Catskill Mountains of New York and having a wonderful Sunday with you all. So I think we've been on about 3 minutes. I think it's time to start, and people that get on late, they know to come back. So we're on alert for severe weather here in Tornado Alley. So this is Felicia. I shifted to where I am. Yeah, busy astrological time from Roseanne. Pixie, Pixie, here's your voice. Oh, that's your dog or cat. And from Oswego, New York. All right. So we're going to dive into this. I'll try to keep an eye on your comments as they come up. But I'm going to dive into this now. So firstly, the April highlights. What did I write down here? Yeah, we said that April is going to be huge, but well, here we are. And by the way, if we get any technology glitches, because the Wi-Fi has been really funny, I apologize for that in advance. And what else was I going to say? Oh, I don't remember. But anyway, firstly, to understand that numerologically, this is a universal number 13 month, which reduces the number 4. 13 is the death. It's the death card in tarot. It's the death in Chaldean numerology. Death is change, transformation. It reduces a revolutionary and evolutionary number 4 that's Uranus ruled, and we're in a very evolutionary time. So the numerology is going to support lots of changes, but with the death of the old comes the birth of the new, comes a rebirth on a much higher level and a much higher vibration. So it's not a bad thing. It's good. Hello, Alexia. Welcome, everybody. New people, old people from, I thought you were saying Manila, Manila, Arkansas. Yeah, we're going to get into the severe weather part because, again, that's been part of the forecast. So anyway, so change, volatility brings awakening, tears down the old structures. Now we have 13, /4 months, fairly frequently, maybe once a year, or so. But we also had an eclipse, and there's also a lot of astrological stuff that's really supporting this teardown. The numerology, the way the planets move, it's just kind of a reflection of consciousness so that we have something tangible to look at, to know, so we can understand these energies from a different perspective. But a couple of highlights. Firstly, today, Neptune goes into Aries for what is it, like I don't know, at least 10 years. I think it's like 12 or 13 years or so. So Neptune's right on the world axis. That's 0 degrees of the cardinal sign. When there's a lot of activity on the world axis, there's a lot of activity in the world, basically. The lunar nodes are 27 degrees, Pisces and Virgo. That's only 3 degrees off the world axis. Mercury and Venus are very close to the world axis. So it's all being activated. The energy is activating the Earth so that the old unfair structures on this planet can tear down more efficiently, so new, more evolved ones can rise in their place. So on April 7th, Mercury goes direct at 26 degrees Pisces. On April 12th, we have a full moon at 23 degrees Libra, right when Venus is stationed going direct. So that's going these are going to help to bring healing, accelerated healing for us. It's going to help to raise compassion. Lots of outreach groups help victims. We find things like that forming, I want to say. The new moon's on the 29th at 7 degrees of not Virgo, of Taurus. Hello. And after April the 12th, all planets are going to be direct also. So that's worth noting as well. So the effects of all the changes energetically are really going to play out, because when everything's direct, everything's moving forward, basically. So lots of government structures begin new, records of collapses. Easter week, Easter week, right around from the 15th on, is heavily aspected when we honor the crucifixion as well as the resurrection. So we honor the death and the rebirth, basically. So expect a lot to be revealed around then. The old dies, higher visions are resurrected, higher energies are resurrected. And a new spiritual leader is born, either symbolically or literally. So drinking a lot of water. So some of you did our transmission for the eclipse. We're going to jump into the eclipse in just a second. We're going to get to all the Donald Trump stuff in a minute also, because that was part of the title. So I want to get that to you earlier on. But this is good lead-in information so you understand what's going on there, basically. Hello, Laura. Hello, Allison. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Jason. Hello, Marie. Hello, Yoda. And yeah, I decided to change clothes because I like this shirt also. All right. So anyway, so we had the powerful eclipse had really set the tone. That was yesterday morning, actually. There's a mass purging of the collective. Now, we did a powerful transmission with the master teachers, and they told us there's going to be a lot of purging, that peeing and pooing a lot. So continue to eat light, drink lots of fluid, eat healthy and stuff like that. And this, to me, the day after the eclipse happened, it just felt like I felt etherically like washing away. It was like wild. I never felt anything so strong before. It's like a cleansing, and I felt really super heavy all week. And yesterday I felt very light. My energy was back. I was very happy. It just cleared a lot. And I think the collective fields just got a big cleansing from the universe, basically, which we needed. And it's a portal to new earth. Like, this is like this was a powerful portal, and we've entered really into new vibration and a new reality. And the changes on the earth are going to follow, but you're going to start to feel it. We feel it first energetically. It affects the quantum first, and then it affects more of like the emotions or the feelings, and then it sort of trickles into the physical, basically. So what else do we say? Catalyzes lots of change, exposures of truth. Eclipse allowed for huge energy release on the planet. Temp I don't know what I wrote. Huge temporary every release. I don't know what I wrote there. You'll likely feel differently afterwards. So anyway, so first thing that I want to mention before we get into the more the predictive stuff. Basically, firstly, we're experiencing, and the eclipse helped to herald this in, but we are experiencing a huge influx of light now. How many of you guys feel that? They huge influx of light. It's massive, basically. We will be experiencing spiritual upgrades. Portals are opening, and mass spiritual awakening like we've never seen before is likely to at least begin, if not continue through this month, basically. This light has the potential to offset some of these difficult predictions. So keep feeding that light, basically. Keep feeding the light. And remember, in the 3D, we are subject to both high and low frequencies. So always remember to feed the light, to feed the high frequencies. Remember the Native American story. It's the wolf you feed. Within every man, woman, and child exists the bad wolf and the good wolf, the evil wolf and the kind one. And then the son asked the grandfather, so which, well, he said they're in mortal combat. And the child asked the grandfather, the elder, so which wolf wins? And he says, the one you feed. So we're subject to all kinds of frequencies. The ones that you feed are the ones that are going to be relevant in your life, basically. So what else do we say? Remember, in the 3D, we're subject to high, and remember that. So it's a spiritual renaissance. We've been warming up to this. We've been preparing you here on the channel for over 4 years, and other teachers have been doing the same on YouTube and other platforms. So we've been at it. This is a time of the mass energetic purging, a lot of detoxing and stuff like that. So extremely active solar code. The sun is extremely active. I would not be surprised if April is heralded in by some kind of a massive solar flare and a coronal mass ejection. So it's the solar codes, the light codes of the sun, which are transmitters of higher frequencies of the central sun, of higher consciousness, are basically, they're bringing these codes to help to awaken our dormant potentials, dormant DNA. We have so much coded within us that once our energies reach certain thresholds, certain levels, it triggers different awakenings, and we awaken different gifts. I'm going to be drinking a lot of water. Like I can't drink enough water these last couple of days. Just recently, we had an X-class flare, right. 2 days ago, there's a massive coronal hole that was creating huge solar winds, and people were seeing auroras even without CMEs as far south as the northern tier of the United States. So that's not even with the benefit of a flare. That was just the solar winds. And we may be experiencing that solar flip. We are in an 11-year solar maximum after all. So the flip, that. So huge flares could Greek August. This is the second time this is the time where we stand on the precipice of two worlds now, the old world and the new world. And we have to make the decision which way we're going to go. So teachers like Dolores Cannon and others talk about the earth splitting into two, the 5D or the 3D earth. We're on that precipice now. Which way are you going to go? And if you're choosing the higher, get more into your spiritual, get more into the heart, basically. And as I'm talking, it's you're saying, really, that's more of like an effect. It's just right now, it's just making that choice and making that commitment, basically. So let me see what else. Deep healing potential, personally and collectively, new energies. Venus is retrograding conjunct Venus is really enhancing healing. The planet Neptune itself, it raises consciousness, but also exposes illusions and delusions. And it's right on the world axis. So we're going to expose a lot of stuff there also. Advantageous for subconscious reprogramming. and it's obvious. It's obvious. Okay, it's obvious that the powers that be, whether you want to call them the cabal, the deep state, whatever name you want to give to them, the globalists or whatever. I mean, we've known this all along, but it's become very obvious that they want you angry. They want you fearful. They want you at each other's throats, basically, because you because then you're easy to control. When you're able to be in your heart and purge these emotions, or clear them, then you connect more with your higher self, with source. They really, the thing is that the powers that want to control things and manipulate things for their gains at our expense, and it's just a minute, a minute few. Um, yeah, the powers that wish to do that, they want us fearful and angry. They don't want you to be connected with your higher self. They want to cut you off from your own divinity. And when you don't have your divinity, which is your wellspring of life, your life force, then you're weak, tired, easy control, and illness can follow, basically. So make different choices. Don't feed the anger, chaos. Go into the heart instead. We're seeing a lot of glitches in the matrix also, so we're seeing a lot of that energy. And we may experience timeline shifts like temporal displacement, a lot of Mandela effects, like things that you and a group of people swear they remembered, but it never happened. Well, it did happen. It's just timelines change, basically. And we see a lot of these a lot of these glitches and a lot of weird things that go on that are affecting the physical that seem to be not physical. Also, April's a perfect month for manifestation. So what are your dreams? What are your goals? What is it that you wish to manifest at this time, basically? And because we're in Aries, the first sign, because we're in a new moon energy and the solar eclipse and other factors, this is the time to manifest. Either light candles, do prayers, affirmations, whatever, however you manifest, but always feel like it's real. Make it real in your mind. See it in the present. Feel grateful. Then you blend the heart and the brain. And if you're present, you connect more with spirit, source of the quantum field. And then you vibrate those intentions in the field. Keep doing it. It's going to manifest, basically. So where are we? Page 3. So we'll jump into a little bit of Donald Trump stuff, political stuff. Not my favorite subject, but it's the world we live in. We need to understand this stuff, right? So firstly, and also the economy war. So reasons that and I know it's kind of, and I've been using these types of titles lately, that, is this the end of Trump, blah, blah, is this his final days or whatever? The reasons that I see that possibility are, firstly, I don't think he's in good health. That's been well documented in many different ways. I do still feel like an assassination attempt is on the table that might have been mitigated already, because I don't feel it as strong as I did a couple months ago. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen or that it won't happen. And I also feel and see a lot of pushback from around the world, from Republicans and Democrats alike in this country and around the world. I do believe that impeachment proceedings are going to go into place. That in itself doesn't mean a whole lot. How many was he impeached twice in his last term? So that in itself is not necessarily a deal breaker or anything. There could be something that the Supreme Court gets involved. So there may be a lot of pushback, basically, and hidden info on Donald Trump surfaces, basically. Now, my original prediction was he'd be in office about 2 to 3 years, and either something happens or he feels like his work is done, or something like that. Then I was wondering, it's 2.5 years, really 2.5 months. I would take it to April. Honestly, I don't think he's going to step down in April, but watch July, and then watch July for other reasons, basically. July is another supercharged month, and we'll get, as we get closer, we'll talk more about it. Watch out for that. So we're seeing an economic depression now. I got, this was a vision, and understand visions are points of reference that don't have to come true, and I don't think this is going to come true specifically, but I was seeing a depression where people were very destitute, basically. Um, and again, I think this is just potential, and this would be starting in April. That would be, a significant stock market crash and other things that are happening and going on. There could be news of shutting down of the FDIC or some central banking system. Doesn't have to be the FDIC. Basically, long and the short of it is we're in an economic reset, just like we're in a reset, with everything else. Now we have Carney now as the Prime Minister of Canada. Carney's a banker. He's not really a politician. I mean, he has some experience. He was the former governor of the Bank of Canada, then he became the governor of the Bank of England. And could this be a sign of the direction the world's going in, where politicians are really economists and bankers? And all that seems to support the globalist agenda, by the way. So there's a lot of conjecture if that's really what that is. So we also, faced with escalating crises around bank. When we get faced with escalating crises like a World War III agenda, more battles or stuff, if it comes to a state of emergency and there's not enough funding, they can draw on banks, which is our money. So maybe have some extra cash, have some extra supplies. Again, we talked about April. I think I have this in my notes later on, but this is on my mind. We may go through a period where we're in some kind of a temporary lockdown or displacement, or we can't get our supplies or food. And now, just to be clear, this is the first time that I've ever really sounded any warning about this. Yeah, in 2000, when the pandemic was going the lockdowns, I told you guys, there's going to be some shortages. Stock up, be prepared just in case. But now I'm like really seeing and feeling like this could be an actuality. And I started to do the same myself. We could see an event in April. Again, July is another month. And of course, it could be any time. And again, when I'm doing psychic predictions, again, the timelines can change. And not everything's written in stone. The predictions can change. So the idea is we raise our consciousness that it'll mitigate a lot of the challenges, like I said in the beginning. So what else have we said? One more through the agenda. All right, so we're on to page 4. We're getting there. You can see a lot of issues around RFK and those agendas. I mean, personally, I like the idea of making the pharmaceutical companies responsible for things and getting our foods healthier and all that kind of stuff. But lots of people moving out of the country. So that was another part of the title, a mass exodus. So that's been on the table. I think people are scared and they are moving out, but I wouldn't call it a mass exodus or anything like that. And watch out for the capital getting closed off. Government shutdown, strikes across different industries as laborers walk out. Seeing some friction or fallout with Musk and Trump. Now, to be honest and to be clear, I prepared these notes, started a couple of days ago before I got the news today, actually, that I think it was just yesterday that Musk said that he's going to step down from Doge, once he feels like his part is done. Now, when again, sometimes with psychic sensing, we can get our wires crossed. One of my clients calls it a psychic blender. When I'm seeing the possibility of Trump stepping down in April, would I be confusing that with Musk? It's possible, basically. Lots of people move out of the country. So huge pushbacks, demonstrations, riots. Watch the Capitol getting off. All right, we talked about that. Tariffs modified somewhat, but they are going into effect. And I've been pretty on with that. The first month where it's proposed, I told you guys it's not going to really happen. But then the second month I said it would, but if you modify. So I've been pretty good with those predictions so far. Yes, Susan, prepared for the worst, hope for the best. So that's the thing to do. We can mitigate a lot of this stuff. And we have higher beings, higher forces, great spirit, God, source, the extraterrestrials, the interdimensional, the ascended masters. They're working with us. They can't interfere, but they can help us. And we've so often, by the skin of our teeth, avoided the worst case scenario so many times already. I think that's going to hold, to be quite honest. But be prepared just in case, right? So we hear more about okay, tariffs modify changes in global marketplace affects many industries, but we'll come into a better balance later in the year. So if we do go into a recession or God forbid a depression, I think by October or so we're going to actually be in a better place, because I think different countries in the U.S., different ideologies, who knows? We may see just Jasara, Nasara scenario where we're in more of a quantum financial system, or at least starting. I don't think that's happening in April, but maybe later on in the year. So this month we hear more about the effects of executive orders, shutdowns, stuff like that. Now, and I'm nonpartisan. I'm not playing favorites here. There's things that I like, things that I don't like about this administration. Of course, my heart goes out to anybody that's suffering, anybody that's scared or whatever. But there's different sides of the story. So a lot of people are freaked out about the executive orders. You have shutdowns like the educational system. I mean, I'm very environmental, so I don't like the idea of more trees being cut down or whatever. Though Spirit is saying, we have plenty of trees. It's not going to put a significant dent anyway. But I just wanted to share, like an example. Like a lot of people are very upset about the USAID being defunded or cutting funds for that. And I've heard a couple of interviews with African leaders, like an ex-diplomat or ambassador, and I have to tell you that they're happy that the USAID is pulling out. From their perspective, the promise of what's the promise, like filling the gaps, like in healthcare and education, stuff like that, were not fulfilled, but they experienced further destabilization of their government. So there's different perspectives on this, and different people have different opinions on that. And I think the thing to do is to be in your heart. It's fine to agree or disagree. It's good to have opinions on things, but be open about it, because I think a lot of this stuff happens to freak people out. And we're still trying to sort out which side, the Donald Trump, the administration is on. Is he on the side of like exposing all the corruption so that everybody will be free and happy, or is he part of the corruption that's being exposed? And what else? I know I wrote a little bit more. I also see an assassination attempts overseas. So we watch out for leaders on other parts. Still seeing that Statue of Liberty vision that I talked about in March. I think back then I said March or April, with the planes and drones around it. Could be a bomb threat or something like that. Sometimes psychic imaging, like psychic images that I get, like visions or feelings, are symbolic. Like it could represent attacks on our freedom. Now, some people pointed out that France wanted to take the Statue of Liberty back. Honestly, I don't think that that's what I was seeing. I mean, it's possible. I don't think that was it. I'm still seeing a lot of unrest in Russia. We talked about Putin being ill. More that's coming out. I mean, I know in the spring there's talk about him having cancer, but I have to say, and I even in these types of forecasts, like if I'm doing a reading for you, I'll never predict death. That's just so against ethics with that, because we're not God. We don't know that. But that said, there's a chance that Putin could pass in the month of April or soon after, I want to say. And I'm seeing lesions on the skin. I mean, nothing's come out that he has skin cancer or anything, but I got that in a vision. But I feel like there's a lot of unrest there. Some civil war activity. Now, remember, we're just past USA Pluto return now. Pluto's at right now, I think it's at 3 degrees Aquarius. That's the exact degrees of the American Revolution and the French Revolution. So it's a very revolutionary energy with Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius. So we may see those types of issues in Russia and areas around that also. Arrest protests globally, Eastern Europe especially noted. So lots of protests. We're already seeing that. Mass global protests. Martial law instituted in several countries. Here in the U.S., we may see localized incidences of martial law. Just to be clear, I don't think it's going to be mass, but we may see that. We have to Also beware, we may have some either internet or power outages. And again, watch out, second, third week. One of the our followers here, Melissa, she and I were talking on chat, and she had a vision similar about something happening in around that time. And you know what? When you guys give me feedback and you get that on your own, and it's something that I picked up on, I take that as confirmation, basically. So again, have some supplies just in case if there's an incident or stuff like that. So mass level protests, martial law could be isolated martial law in the U.S. Let me glance through your comments for a second. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of what you guys are saying, but can keep on. So you see, I've seen a vision of lots of money changing hands, leaders of state, hush money, sweetheart deals, all that kind of stuff. This is a time of exposure where the mass corruption rises to the surface. A major event could cause some level of lockdown. Watch out towards Easter. We just talked about that, right? Bomb threats, terrorism. Watch out New York City. Watch out Chicago. Watch out Toronto, as well as the Gulf Coast. Any coastal city is fair game. I'll put it that way. We see the mass exposure of corruption continues. Things like the origins of the virus. So much is coming out now, and there's I think it's Germany, but there's one or two countries that wants to indict Fauci for crimes against humanity, and there's evidence to support that top virologists, people in the field, were telling not just him but the powers, that could be the WHO and a lot of different organizations, that this has the signature of a biologically altered organism, basically. Like, in other words, they said, looking at this, we can be at least 95% sure this was made in a lab, basically. And that was known in 2020. And the efficiency of the vaccinations and everything, it was known. And a lot of whistleblowers, at least a few, have come out is saying that not only was it clear that it was not going to be 97% effective, but those in charge knew that. So if this comes out more in the mainstream, it's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. We're going to see a lot of corruption, shocking things come down, basically. And basically, getting back to Trump, whether you love him or hate him, he's like the avatar, right? He's the agent of change that that spirit is sent. Again, he may be, whatever your perception is, whatever it is, there's a higher forces at work. He could be being used by higher forces. It may not be that he is, the next Messiah or anything. It may just be that he is the man for the job right now. I think I have more of that in my notes. But in any event, and this is the time of awakening, and we needed something to shock the system, so to speak. And Donald Trump, to me, is the prototype coyote, the one that's going to trick people into learning and growing, basically, in the collective. So anyway, I think I'm more on that. So Age of Enlightment could lock down on the terror. All right. Exposure of corruption, globalist agenda in general, more that's getting exposed, basically. 144 on chat, sacred number, 12 squared. So seeing situation where people have been stepping up, saying how their home insurance or fire insurance and flood insurance was discontinued in the lead of fires, floods, and natural disasters, basically. Now it's shown an image of the world on fire, basically, and we told you in March, in the March forecast, and we pinpointed some location. Oklahoma and Texas came up, Carolina came up. So we pinpointed some specific locations with that, and they're more. And I just saw a fire map yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, the world really is on fire, basically. That's only going to continue or even increase in April, so be aware of that. Australia may get into the act also, because that popped up, basically. Continue major fires in U.S. and Canada. Great Britain Australia, Eastern Europe, a lot of places. And I had this vision. I shared that with you last month, but I still have the vision around me of everything being painted blue. And those of you that know what DO is, direct energy weapons, it's been said. I mean, I don't know this for sure. I rely on what I hear in alternative news, but I'm also aware that all lines of information are corrupted in some way or another. But it's been said that blue resists the direct energy weapon, which is allegedly creating some of the fires now. And then there's when it comes to conspiracy theories versus conspiracy facts, there always has to be an end game, and it's usually money and power, basically. So if you can follow those steps, you may get an idea of what that is and what's going on. But to me, that means that there's likely to be more alleged um, purposely set fires for whatever reasons they are, and you can take it from there. So war atrocities. I've seen military boats, like ships in the waters, Middle East, Africa, a lot of going on in Africa, also Asia, Iran, Yemen, Syria, Iran. These were areas that we told you earlier on, before a lot of this stuff came, to keep an eye on. And this is also in the great prophecies of like Nostradamus and others. It's not just me. A lot of people that do this are seeing similar things with that. Fire bombing, central Gaza, Eastern Europe, action by U.S. and West bring new countries into the Middle East crisis. But there is a strong energy of peace amidst the growing war. A lot of the aspects, a lot of the energy, it's very Aquarian now, are promoting peace. So there's both of these forces are kind of at play here. And I do think we are going to see some movement in some of the peace treaties, whether that's Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East, or whatever. But unfortunately, we may see more battles popping up in other areas, basically, and stuff like that. So and they're showing me also more footage of war. Like, people really need to see up close what war really is. What goes on really in the war. Nobody wins. That's the bottom line. Well, I shouldn't say nobody wins. The defense contractors win, which feeds the asset management companies, which feeds the governments, which feeds the globalists. So they win, but nobody else wins, basically. So where are we? Page 7. That's where we are. We're getting there, and we're only 40 minutes in. So we try to keep this as an hour. So visions of. So I got this vision of the Knight of Swords when I was preparing my notes of the tarot. I read tarot also. That could be an unexpected invasion. There could be something even on U.S. or Canadian soil. So keep an eye. So maybe the States. But I think we're going to see some unprovoked attacks in the world somewhere. If I pinpoint something, I always forget something. Sometimes I do a follow-up video because I always forget something. Possible nuclear attacks. So keep an eye on that. I think our extraterrestrial friends are making sure we don't blow our planet up, basically, or an accident or something like that. I mean, I think the Middle East is very suspect, even though originally I was getting that information around Eastern Europe and stuff like that. Eastern Europe's likely to be a hotbed of strife and struggles. Massive demonstrations, things of that nature. Things can get very out of control and very angry and very ugly. Stay in your heart, stay in the power, breathe light and love into the collective, basically, because it's going to get super, super dicey in April for what's shown here in the U.S. and other countries. So new political unrest in Canada. People and Canadians being unhappy how their leaders are handling the U.S., the tariffs, Donald Trump, and all that stuff. Looks like March. Look for another month. Like the month of March, which of course we forecast here. We'll see when March is over if it's indeed a record month. I know there's been a lot of tornadoes in the U.S. basically, and we're having another round today also, another major event. So like March, look for another month of excessive severe weather. that includes tornadoes, that includes hail, high winds. It's been a really windy month across the U.S. Floods. They've shown me massive floods. Also, it's the reset of the earth. We keep abusing the planet. The planet's living also. The planet struggles to maintain a balance, and the result is we get a lot of shaking. We get a lot of severe weather. Basically, we have to learn, like the indigenous people, to honor Mother Earth, and if enough people can do that, then it'll start to smooth out the earth, and then we'll just get back to normal. I mean, there's always going to be severe weather. That's just part of climate. It's just the excessiveness of it now. And you can blame global warming. That's part of it. But global warming is so politicized now, and it's so falsified. I don't even like mentioning it. I believe in it. I know it's real, and I know there is a human component to it. But at the same time, it's so blown out of proportion. And it's just I think we're past that now. We just have to understand that there's a lot of factors, and I think it's more important to understand that the Earth's responding to a lot of our stress, and these higher frequencies, they keep hitting the Earth. They're raising our frequencies. Like I said in the beginning, we stepped through an amazing portal, and into a new Earth, like a new reality. And as these higher frequencies act on us, they clear stuck energy within our own energy fields that can include karma, trapped traumas that get suppressed in the subconscious, that stuff. But it's the same thing with the earth. We have to remember the earth's alive. The earth actually breathes. A full breath may take 1 billion years, so we don't know it, but the earth breathes. It's the microcosm, the macrocosm. Everything's the same. Everything's alive. And if you can feel the life of the earth, hug trees, get out into nature, and send lots of energy and lots of love. The more people do that, the more that our fearless leaders will acknowledge that they have to take a little bit better care of our planet, basically. So I think we may see the first of 2 to 3 major earthquakes here in the USA. Watch Yellowstone. For the last 2 months, I keep getting drawn to Yellowstone. We know that Yellowstone's a big underground volcano. That's why there's geysers. Also the Southwest. Watch Mount St. Helens in that area. This is going to be another month of increased shaking of the earth, volcanoes, stuff of that nature. California's always been on the radar, but the Southern Plains, around the Mississippi. You guys know who Baba Vaga, the blind prophet? Was she Hungarian? I think she was Bulgarian, actually. Amongst her predictions, one of her predictions was the earth is going to catch on fire when the end times are coming. We're in the end times now, basically, and that the seas were going to part, that there's going to be an earthquake in 2025 so bad in the U.S. that it's going to split the Mississippi, basically. And she's got a really good track record. Like I said, we pick up potential timelines. We can mitigate or soften the blow. We can do that. If we love the earth, let's all of us send lots of love to the earth. Make your shaking gentle. We know tectonic plates move. We know there has to be earthquakes. That's part of nature. But it doesn't have to be so frenetic, because there's just so much energy. And as these higher frequencies hit the earth, they dislodge some of the karma trapped in the earth, release some of the stress that humans for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years even. We're at the end of the age of Kali Yuga also, right? According to the Vedics. And then we're coming to the golden age. You look at the Vedic, you look at Revelation, you look at the Mayan prophecy, you look at Nostradamus, Baba Vaga, Edgar Cayce. They're all saying the same thing. This is the end times now. And she said, fire, the earth is going to catch on fire. The seas will part. I may not be saying that verbatim. And we're seeing that. But the end times isn't the end of the world. It's the end of the old corrupt world and the birth of the new earth. And that's the thing to really hold on to it, as all the stuff is changing. So severe weather or volcanoes. Oh, watch out also Spain and Portugal for a big earthquake. That area popped up in my mind. And I was able to accurately pick up on the activity around Greece and Italy before it happened. I mean, not everything I say is going to happen to the letter. It's a forecast. weather forecasters can be wrong 1 hour before the event. It's timelines, it's all changing, it's all possibilities. That said, most of what we say comes true in some way, shape, or form. Um, Ring of Fire area, Japan, especially, watch out. I feel like a lot of political unrest in Japan also. Though I haven't heard anything about that yet. I think it's the whole world, to be honest. They've shown me protests around Japan also. Global. It's just tearing down of the old facades, right? So there may be some activity around Spain, Portugal, and I'll miss some. I'm not going to get everywhere. There's going to be an earthquake or a fire. That's just literally impossible, I think, for anybody. Also, I'm seeing an increase in sinkholes. I think I mentioned that in the March forecast also. And I've seen a little bit on the news. There's a huge one in Seoul, South Korea, that swallowed up a big, almost like part of the whole block. So I think we're seeing that as well. Many of these predictions are old ones about the end times. All right. So don't let the thing that we're in the end times. The message there's, don't let that scare you. It's just what has to happen. We see a lot of false prophets. And according to the Bible, a false prophet is the one that doesn't follow the teachings of Jesus the Christ. But we can all sort of broaden that, that Christ consciousness or Christ is everywhere. So the false prophets are the ones that are not teaching from spirit, source, or God, but rather trying to trick you, basically. It's the season of the coyote. We get tricked into learning, basically. Record fires, record heat around the world. Fires. Also, I've seen fires around the movie sets. I want to say, could that implicate Orlando, Florida, Disney World? Wait, there was a fire around Disney World. There was. I saw that somewhere. And honestly, to be clear, I'm not sure if I prepared my notes before or after I saw that. No, but I got that as a vision. Also, that could be another one in California. But then, anyways, so huge month for sky anomalies also. So we may get some reliable alien photography or footage, basically. I don't think the big disclosure's coming yet. I think we're moving. We're kind of leading up to that. Big disclosures of things going underground, as forecasts, basically, or big discoveries underground, like forecasts. What happened in the pyramids at Gaza, right? Recently, we've known about that. There's a book that I think came out in the 80s or 90s called the Giza, not Gaza. Gaza's the strip. Giza. The Giza power plant, like there were remote viewers that knew of this activity below before we had reliable footage on that. I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to become more aware of a lot of subterranean tunnels that go on. Alien technology. Thank you, Susan, all for sharing this information with me. Also, of alien technology that can literally like cut tunnels underground, like I forgot what the exact measurement was, but I think they're talking something about like 100 kilometers per hour or something really, really crazy like that. That's about 50 or 60 miles an hour, cutting tunnels, making frictionless tunnels that the vehicles like trains can go at supersonic speed, Mach speed, basically. Like you'll be able to get to from New York to Europe probably in an hour or two, basically, or the West Coast. They already exist. And I think some of the earthquake activity is from the tunnels. I didn't write a lot in my notes about the Epstein and that's part of the corruption that's being exposed, obviously. We do have, at least through my guides, some intel that some of these tunnels that they use for trafficking, getting exploded or stuff like that, and other things that could be causing earthquakes, not to mention wastewater ejection from hydrofracking. That's why in the Oklahoma area and that area, why earthquakes just got so out of control. That was an area that saw very few earthquakes. Now Usually it's not serious ones. They get moderate ones up to 5 something from wastewater rejection from hydrofracking. So we see more big discoveries underground, under oceans and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of these discoveries have been made already. It's just when are they going to get disclosed, right? So alien-based technology to create massive tunnels. I already talked about that. Really feeling. I think in April also we're going to really start to be feeling the effects of like AI and the executive orders in the United States and the ripple effect that it has in the world. We have to adapt, basically. Again, getting back to Donald Trump for a second, and those of you that got on late, we talked more about this in the beginning. If for whatever reason that the possible prediction comes true in July that he's removed from office or that his health or whatever happened, it'll be that the job has been done because there's a higher forces at play here. And we really have to acknowledge this. I mean, yeah, because I'm nonpartisan, I get a pretty balance between people that are more right and more left leaning. But if you're more left leaning, hang in there. It's I know on the surface it may seem like it's all very self-serving or whatever, but I promise, the spirit is my witness, because that's where I get the information from. There's a higher purpose at play here, and for whatever reason, as a collective, we created that. And the end game is ascension and to expose a lot of the corruption. So, I think if you look from a globalist perspective, as long as Donald Trump's doing his job in their eyes, which is deepening the divide, getting everybody scared and unnerved so that they're separated from their divinity and they're more easily controlled, they'll keep him in. But I think if he's really starting to go to the next phase of what is allegedly his plan from some people that I know of, that may be where more pressure comes and where they try to remove him. There's some conjecture if he is part of the globalist movement. Certainly there's evidence in the past he may have been, including an 11-year documented friendship with Epstein, for example, and others. But I still think he has been and always will be an outlier, to be quite honest, basically. So we know that it seems like with the tariffs and with the Greenland agenda. By the way, there's a lot of minerals and gold in Greenland, just for an FYI, as well as being in a strategic location. It probably it has the feel of like making sides, creating more division, leading to a World War III agenda, and certainly Project Stargate, which has mRNA vaccines and AI as part of it for cancer treatment or cancer vaccine will also seem like that agenda also. So, but things aren't always as they seem. So keep that in mind. It may or may not be. But the thing is to understand there's a higher purpose, So I know a lot of people are nervous and scared. I just want to put that out there. We're going to be okay. And the more we raise the consciousness, the more we raise the field, the more it's going to happen. I'm sorry I'm missing your comments. I know you guys are adding great things. Yeah. There's some good comments I'm seeing also. Thank you, Unspoken, for that. Yeah, AI is not a bad thing. It's a tool that can be used or misused. If it's in the hands of globalists that want to control everything, like the same people that rewrote and miswrote history are controlling the AI, it's not a good thing. But if people awaken in consciousness, we have to understand technology is part of our ascension, the blending with technology, because where does technology come from? It comes from us, basically. And the computers, those great computers, well, guess what? They're fashioned after the human brain and the human nervous system. We're the models for the computer. So we have to understand that it's a tool that can really be used for a positive thing. And yes, I do think safe interfacing is a thing of the future. I don't think in the next 5 years it's safe to interface. I mean, my cell phone freaking glitches when it's brand new. Do I want that in my body? No, thank you. And again, until we know that everything's on the up and up and it's not being used to further control and further program people and further get people farther from their divinity, approach it with caution. That's my advice, basically. So what else? So Talking about knowledge of underground networks, ancient civilization. We talked about the alien age. Oh, we talked about all that. I'm rereading things. News intensifies on the new coronavirus. So I think that's part of the, we'll say, the plan. We understand there were certain steps that were taken, and I have to say this carefully so that people see this video when it goes. But there was some knowledge of perhaps things being mapped out in a certain way, so that when a certain virus started to affect us, there's already a plan in place before it even happened. And there was also some observations, like how do humans behave under such a conflict? What do they do? Who resists? Who doesn't resist? And all that stuff. And you can be assured that AI is not new. It's new to us, but it's not new. So anyway, I think you get the gist of that, right? So we really begin to feel those effects. So remember also, it's a number 4 month. Number 4 is Uranus, surprises, sudden release of energy, revolution, evolution. We're going to see what may look like civil war energy, revolutionary war right here in the US. We're likely to see that in other countries also. I think it's part of the plan. Remember who benefits from war, not us, right? So the number 4 will accelerate and enhance the rollouts of new technologies in medicine. It's a brave new world with such people in it. Thank you, Miranda. I love The Tempest for the Shakespeare fans out there. That was my favorite of favorites, was The Tempest. Brave New World with such people in it, and of course Aldous Huxley's book Brave New World. Well, I think that's coming true, right? In 1984, right? So what else? More rockets explode, more aeronautics in general highlighted, more drone UAP UFO sightings, strange anomalies in the sky. So I think we're going to see more of that. And it's happened so often. It happened last time too. I think that was the February, but I had a forecast of plane crashes. I prepared my notes a day or two before time. The morning of the live stream, that was when the Washington, D.C. plane crash happened. And then people watched the video. Oh, sure, Adam, you knew that already. It's on the news. Like, no, that happens all the time. But anyway, so we're winding down here. Then we're going to do some divination to get more messages from Spirit. So Zachary saying, worried about the mark of the beast. Remember the Bible. The mark of the beast shall be a number of a man, the number of a man, and his number shall be 666. I love Revelations, one of my favorite books in the Bible. So remember that. The beast is the human ego, basically. That's the mark of the beast. The human ego is what separates us from our divinity. It's like the servant became the master, basically, is what's happening. So when we ascended, we become present, and we blend more with source. Then we can bring our ego, which is an amazing tool for us to navigate as spirits having human experiences, our earthly life for our ascension and growth, and for the betterment of the planet and humanity, basically. So maybe the mark of the beast has to show up in order to overcome the beast, right? And one of the translations of the Bible that I became aware of, and God, I can't find it. I don't know if it's the Essenes. I don't remember where it comes. But at the end of the day, after Lucifer took a third of the angels, wreaked complete havoc on the earth, laid the earth to waste, Lucifer returned back to God because his job was done. And then humanity rebuilds, basically. So anyway, that's one variation or one interpretation. So what else? Spikes in cancer and illness. We're already seeing that. Creates more acceptance of the more expensive mRNA AI cancer vaccine technology, basically. So how about alkalizing your systems? How about eating really, really good food? How about learning how to express ourselves when we feel upset and angry, so we're not holding on to negative energy? How about opening the heart and love? How about drinking lots of water and staying healthy? They knew back in the 1930s that that was preventative care for cancer. Why don't we hear from the drug companies? Never mind, I know the answer. Um, but in any event, so we're seeing that. We're seeing spikes in cancer. It's literally happening. We don't know the exact origins of the mystery fog, but because that happened, and because allegedly they found bacterial and parasitic entities within that fog, they're showing more research that there's a parasitic component to cancers. There's are parasites that can kind of rewire the human immune system to make cancer cells replicate out of control. By the way, what state is ivermectin legalized now, over the counter, proposed? If somebody knows that, flash it on there. Yeah, it's like ivermectin is not real. It doesn't help. It's a conspiracy theory. That's why one state and more to follow are going to bring it over the counter. That's why people swear by it, because what is it? It's an anti-parasitic. What is it? So people are finding it's useful in cancer, and it's cheap, basically. Need some water. Why is it on the agenda? I think for 10 or 11 states now. I think 2, it's already happened. Banning aerosol emissions from airplanes in their state, aka chemtrails. But then you're going to hear the naysayers like, "Oh, that's not real. That's a conspiracy theory." Yeah, that's why states are moving to ban it, because it's just a conspiracy theory. All right, next. So anyway, spikes in cancer. All right, so massage could be all right. We talked about that. So we see a new spiritual leader or two emerging, a new voice coming in, helping us. It may be through a very young person also. I was also seeing another white calf buffalo being born. So that's always a very good omen. We'll see if that happens in April or in May. But I think that seeing a lot of epic floods, seeing a lot of evacuations. We see some something amazing in the sky, a sign, maybe ETs, maybe omens or something like that. And again, new light has emerged. The more of us that align with this new energy, the easier this transition is going to be. Basically, I'm praying that I got that right. Yeah, I know. I see them. I mean, I think a lot of people honestly do mistake condensation trails for chemtrails. I just have to tell you, from the perspective of a meteorologist, if a plane's flying, usually it's below -40 Celsius, which I think is -40 Fahrenheit also. Basically, the condensation of jet emissions, it condenses, but then it turns to ice crystals. And ice crystals do not just dissipate. That only dissipates when the conditions are conducive for it to form the ice crystals. So yes, you can have a horizontal cloud across the sky from a jet, but a true chemtrail is a different animal. They look meaner. They're not always white. They're usually lower. And I witnessed one Christmas morning. You see them at night also. One Christmas morning, they probably thought that nobody's watching. I was living in Kerhonkton. I was outside. It was mild enough to be outside, and I sat and I saw the planes with the crisscross, and I saw it. And then within 10 minutes, those chemtrails turned into a cloud, and the whole sky turned cloud. And I'm like, planes do not do that. I know condensation trails do not do that. So anyway, if you know the difference, that's really good. So I just figured I mentioned that. All right. Yeah, so thank you, Yolanda. Yeah. Thank you, Sky Dancer. Everybody that's chiming, thank you. Yeah, they're and the Angels 8616. Yeah, they're finding that. It's like it really helped a lot of people in a lot of ways, and now they're finding because it can control parasites that may be useful in cancer therapy. So, we're saying maybe, we're not here to give medical information, and if you're sick, go to the doctor, take the medicine, and blah blah blah. Disclaimer time. So let me start out with the frequency card with the frequencies of the week. Well, thank you, Allison. Yeah, I've been. Thanks for bringing that up because I've been made aware of that. I'll just show you guys. I'm not showing your comments a lot because I've got a lot of information to get through today. But yeah, I've sensed that and heard that before. We have help. Basically, we have help. They're not allowed to interfere with the development of our society, but they can assist. And the more we open our hearts to them, the more they're able to assist. So. And they're here right now. They're saying, yeah, all you got to do is call on us, people. All you got to do is call them. We're here to help you, basically. So I want to mix these good so that I don't get the same card I got on Tarot Time. If I do, it's from Spirit. I'm mixing these up good. Which was romantic love. So who's in love? We all are in love. I'm in love with Spirit, Source, and God. I am love. So if I'm ready to partner again, you know what? Because I am love, that's the place I'm going to attract. That's my point of attraction. Not need, not fear being alone, because you attract what you are, right? Not what you want, what you are. So I need a partner. I'm afraid of being alone. Even if you have them subconsciously, they still vibrate. There's still energy. You create a field that's tend to attract people that are needy, that match that frequency, right? So that's a true gift. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for chiming. I know I missed a lot of your comments. If you're new and you want to introduce yourselves and say where in the world you are in, thank you. We appreciate that. And we appreciate you more than you are the medium channel, you are the community. And thank you so much. Soul time. What's it? It's hammer time. All right, it's soul time. And let me read what this says also. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. Hello. One that embraces the concept that while being the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. And remember, guys, you cannot find stability in your physical world. People like, I want it to be stable. I want this. It's literally impossible because the physical world is inherently unstable. So the only place you're going to find stability is that which lasts forever, and that's God, Spirit, or Source. And when you embrace that, the irony is not the right word. The miracle is that you create more of a sense of stability in your earth life too. Funny how that works, right? So you can also get more messages just by aiding the middle. And I feel like through this card, Spirit is saying to me, one of the things that I miss, it's really cleanup time now. Yes, we have shifted into a new vibration. We have shifted into new earth, but we're still cleansing the old, basically. And you still have to keep some of your focus on what it is that's being cleansed. Not focusing on a way like I have to clean this, I have to clear this, because then you're going into lack. You're not going to spiritual emotions and frequencies. You're going to the opposite. Just by connecting with Source or whatever, setting the intention. This is what I want to help me to cleanse anything from old earth that I don't need, whether it's disease or illness. Probably 90, if not close to 100% of all disease or illness is curable through intention, through mind over matter, or at least can support that cure, basically. So I think that's part of the message. Within the message, I want to say also, thank you, dogs. Thank you for coming in. Nothing wrong with lurking. Yeah. Lurking from Spokane, very good, or Spokane, very nice. So anyway, so what else? it's soul time. So we blend with soul and source, and your higher self is going to help you to cleanse all that old earth stuff. We don't need to suffer anymore. We can energetically have new bodies now by incorporating new frequencies that heal some of those old earth diseases and limitations and all that stuff. Going into the heart and vibrating from the heart and blending the brain is how you become coherent with spirit or source. Also, it's all really about heart brain coherence, however you practice it, whether it's through yoga, breathing, heart chakra work, or the heart brain coherence practice that we teach here. So let's see. I've got, let me do a totem animal. I love the medicine cards. So yes, we are welcoming you going to the dogs. Yes. So some Native American teachings for us. And if I got a dog card now, I got a crow. We certainly are getting a lot of crows around here and other places. Crows are about law. You know, all of our feathered friends connect us with spirit or source. So it's about messages from source. The crow is about messages about law. So the crow energy can help you understand your karma, what your life purpose is, because that's part of divine law. And of course, it can tap into physical laws also, energetic laws, law of attraction, which is part of the law of frequency, or it just states that like frequencies attract like frequencies. There's something called the law of abundance. I may have coined this because I don't see this around a lot, but to me, it's like acknowledging that everything that exists in this reality exists in abundance without exception, from the 15 trillion cells in my body to the millions of trees out of my window to the money too exists in abundance. By the way, it's our brains that causes limitation and scarcity. It's out there. We just have to align our energy and our brains and our thinking so we can tap into the unlimited flow of money, as well as health, as well as everything. So I think you get the idea basically. So I think that's part of what Crow wants to teach us today as Crow flies in. And it's interesting when you get a group of crow together, they're called the murder. I love that. So the crows, because they're dark, they can take you into the dark mysteries also. They can help you with your shadow integration work. Shadows are not the enemy. It's there is no enemy. We can be our own enemies. Shadows are just what's not seen right now. It's what's hidden in the subconscious. And if they're negative shadows, they cause repetitive patterns in your life, cycles, all that kind of stuff. There's a beautiful Simon and Garfunkel song called Patterns, just like The Sound of Silence. I still can't believe they wrote this in the early 60s, with that kind of wisdom. So, so Crow's really here to teach us about our own divinity and to understand, not to avoid the dark, but rather to embrace it, because that's part of our wholeness and oneness. But the light always wins. The dark helps us to power and charge the light. Just like our whole physical reality, just like the Big Bang emerged from complete darkness and the complete void. So that's a good message for April also. Hi, manifest yourself. I didn't see you come on, but we love Manifest Yourself channel around here. And if you guys check it out, you'll love it also. Right, I have the Starseed Oracle deck with me as well. So we're gonna get a message from our star beings, our extraterrestrial friends. Hello all, thank you. Yeah, we've had a rip-roaring hour and 11 minutes, I have to tell you. Lots of good information coming through. All right. Something about being talented. So that word came in. There's maybe a message about you really tapping into your own personal talents and starting to working on them. That the energies are conducive this month for that. So what we got is a messenger. So that's very interesting that we pulled the card that says messenger also. And the message here is Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. So I took a picture of Sirius recently. I'm in the mountains, so it's getting a little bit later in the season that it's harder to see because it's really trending towards the western sky now. But I took a picture and blew it up, and there were two stars, so I could see the two stars there. And whenever I gaze at Sirius and I stay there for a minute, it's like it's something happens to me. I go all buzzy. I go all and then I'm just feeling no Morse code, just like Sirius is literally giving me like messages and signals. And I mean, I can gaze in other stars and get a similar effect, but nothing like that, nothing at all like that. So I adhere to the theory that Sirius is a big generator. It's almost like our spiritual sun in a way, like a spiritual generator. So Sirius energy bringing harmony and balance. And that's the name of the game. Everything in harmony and balance, right? So we have to, be in harmony in our own life and in balance in our own life, and not let the stress of the world and what's going on out there taking us out of our balance and harmony, basically. And call on your guide or your extraterrestrial helpers. They'll help bring you back into balance, basically. All right, one more. Sirius has a lot of water energy. Thanks for sharing that, Allison. I didn't know that until now, so thank you. I'm an old soul. I'm an Earth soul, to be clear about that. But I'm also an Arcturian starseed, from what I understand, and I see evidence in my childhood of that. Things that I was drawn to in my childhood. Also, Lyra or Lyra. I still don't know. Some say Lyra, some say Lyra, Vega. So I know I'm from there also, because I was crazy about cats from my earliest memory. And 4 years old, the best Christmas of my life is we got Strephon was under my tree. My Siamese cat, who welcomed my brother recently to the spirit world. And I've just been crazy about cats. And that's where the feline people come from, according to Dolores Cannon and other seers and researchers. Like Sekhmet, the lion goddess, and we believe is a Lyran star seed. When I channeled, the first time I channeled Sekhmet, it was very spontaneous. What they said was that there were 12 of them that came to Egypt, and they were helping the Egyptian. So there were really 12 segments. There was Bastet, the cat goddess, also. So I know you do, Laura. I know you well enough, even though I never met you. Let's do just one quick message from Kyle Gray's Divine Masters Oracle, and then we'll get going here. All right, so here we go. Found it. Guru Ram Das. We just had a yoga class with Doreen at 5 o'clock here. Ram Das with one S. There's an Indian or a Sikh master, basically, that Yogi Bhajan channeled about Kundalini Yoga, the practice of Kundalini Yoga, to us. So the message from Guru Ram Das is miraculous moment. Harmony surround you, expect miracles. And as the chaos accrues in the world, as the old falls, miracles are going to happen. And that's the underlying message, that even though we're in a tough period right now, and we're seeing a lot, and if you're an empath like myself, it's very hard to feel what we're feeling. But every time I empathize with the world and I feel the suffering, I'll go into the heart and I'll vibrate compassion, basically. And I was talking to somebody recently about I know who it was, that I don't pity them. I don't. But I have loads of compassion, because pity is a low vibration to me, but compassion a very high vibration. And what's the difference? Because I recognize that this has to be, and but I still want to help them. I still want to hug them and make them feel better and make them believe that it's okay, basically. So keep that compassion going. And if you feel the suffering, go into the heart, send lots of compassion, basically. It just has to be this way so that the light can emerge. Basically, the darkness has to be exposed for the light to emerge. And we're really getting a hit on that in April. So these are the reasons why April was such an important month, with the uncertainty of the future of the American president, and the feeling of the whole like political structure and the economic structure of the world breaking down, and really seeing that this month, all the stuff, but a new light's going to emerge. And that's really the underlying message. So on that note, thank you everybody for being here. Please like the video. We've already been commenting. If you like what we do on the Medium channel, please subscribe, and then more of our videos will show up on your homepage. If you want to learn channeling and mediumship, April 11th and the 13th, we have a retreat here in the Catskills. We have a Patreon group, Spirit Mind Family, where we do different things that's not available to anybody but people on that platform. It's only $5 a month, and then we do extra frequency work to help you in your ascension, to clear the old and to ascend. So we're doing that on Spirit Mind Family, but we do this here also. Just that people come back often on Spirit Mind Family. It's a private platform, so I can take it a notch higher there, basically. And what else? I know there's more, but that's all I can think of right now. I'm going to announce the Spirit Fest weekend in August very soon, so I'm ironing out those details now. And that's it. So love you guys, and there'll be information on everything when this becomes a video, which is as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go into studio and get the pinned comment up so that you have more information on the retreat and Spirit Mind Family and other things that we've got going on. And yes, subscribe, please share. Let's keep building this community, because we're here to support the love. We're here to support the real. We're here to support the light, and we're here to connect with other communities doing the same thing. So the other thing that just popped in my mind, again, stock up, have a plan just in case, and think about what we're going to do. I don't think this month, and probably not even this year, but over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, if we do need to separate from society, things really go in that direction where we need to have our sustainable communities and continue our spiritual and human evolution, rather than being forced to have technology in our bodies or forced to take medication we know that's not good for us. But let's start to really think of a plan. Maybe we'll wind up starting a community. Who knows? So anyway, love you guys. Yes, please hit the like button. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you in the next video.